I want friends, but I don't want to leave the house. This is a dilemma that I've been battling for the past 5 months. All right, pretty much since the beginning of the year, to be honest with you. And even though I know what the answer is logistically, and people are telling me what the answer is of just, hey, step out your house, bro. Go outside, go to a park, go to these random places. They list off all these different places that you can go to and just go socialize. Go on a random adventure. Go take a bus ticket and go to this random city and make some new friends. And even though, like, I know logistically, on a logical level, what to do in order to make friends, at the same time, I find myself in this dilemma where I still haven't done it. So, why is it that I can know what to do, but I haven't done it yet? And this has been something that's been eating away at me because it's completely just made me not feel confident in myself, not only in just being able to make friends, but also just to take action on what I know I should be doing. Because, yes, the answer is right there. A lot of the problems that we're facing, especially when it comes to loneliness, whether it's like wanting a relationship or wanting friends or, bettering your relationships with your family members, the advice is always going to be there in the videos, in the, freaking articles, books, TV shows, friends, whatever it is. You're always going to have the basis of what to do. The information is going to be there. But why is it that I still find myself in this dilemma? And honestly, the real answer as to why I find myself in this dilemma simply comes down to the fact that even though I know what to do technically, there's also the emotional part of me, the emotional side of my brain that views staying at the house and being lonely as a better experience than going out there and potentially making friends. Which might sound really weird when you say it out loud. Like, that sounds kind of weird when you say it out loud, right? Like, yes, I love being lonely and sitting at home. It's better than going out and making friends. Like, that sounds like I'm coping. That doesn't sound like I'm actually, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in my logical state of mind. However, somewhere along the line, I saw it as more of a risk to go out there and potentially make friends with whoever I might meet out there. Whether it's, with complete strangers of maybe different, I don't know, like a different background, different career, whatever it might potentially be, that is more riskier and just flat out more scary than the idea, than the certainty of me being lonely sitting at the house, listening to music, playing games, watching streams, and, getting this like parasocial connection, but daydreaming and just thinking about what it would be like to actually be out going outside. In 2020, I remember I used to watch a lot of vlogs. That was the main type of content I like watching, especially when it came to like road trips and like with a group of people. And I'd always kind of like imagine myself in there. Like, this is gonna sound really embarrassing to say, but like imagine if, for example, like, I don't know, they're on a road trip and like someone, I don't know, steps out the car and like pees in a bush, and then like someone chases them or something, like, hey, what are you peeing in my neighborhood, whatever. And then I would kind of I would laugh and whatnot, and I would kind of pause and reflect and be like, bro, that's so cool. And I would almost imagine myself in that scenario. Yes, that is very, yes, I absolutely just said that. All right, kind of embarrassing to say, but that's just what it was. That's what I was doing because I just wanted that connection. I wanted that semblance of adventure in my life. Yet whenever I was, I had the opportunity to do so, I wouldn't take it. I would all of a sudden be lazy or be busy, or, oh, you know what, I actually don't really want to do this for real. Like, I don't really want to do it. When it's like, no, I do want to do this, but I'm just scared to do so. I'm scared to do so. I'm scared to take that step forward. And it really frustrates me whenever I talk to people about this because I feel like people just give the informational answer. You know what I mean? They give the answer of, oh, you should go to here and the here and here and here in particular, instead of like, hey, the kind of like helping me view it differently, and seeing more of a benefit in me going outside, me doing that, as opposed to me staying at home. And the biggest breakthrough moment that I had, the moment that I knew, like, okay, I have to make this shift where I have to actually like change this, because if not, I'm just going to be sitting here at the crib, bored, missing out on my early 20s doing absolutely nothing, was when I was actually playing a video game. All right, this might sound really, really weird. It's going to sound really weird, but like, you're going to see how it connects. I was playing this video game, the zombie game. And for the longest of times in my childhood, whenever I played the zombie game, Left 4 Dead 2, I would play it on easy mode. I wouldn't play it on any other difficulty. All right, your boy was, hey, your boy didn't want to play it on any other difficulty. However, I reinstalled it on my computer this January, and I've been playing it pretty much like every month. And now I am to the point where I'm upping the difficulty even more. So now instead of playing on easy mode like I did when I was a kid, I, am playing it now on advanced mode. And whenever I played it on advanced mode and I would get this experience, I've gotten a lot more reps in the game, meaning that now my confidence level of doing that is way higher because now I know I can do it. And I realized while I was like kind of, playing the game and like just looking at it basically how I've progressed, I realized that it's no different when it comes to this situation. The more reps that I get, in even in baby steps, the more it builds my confidence up, and the more confidence equals the more I'm willing to, go out there and just experience more of things. And I feel like this is kind of the example and just the lesson that I really needed, because for so long I was always like beating myself up because I knew what I needed to do, but I simply just didn't take action on it. And I thought it was because like, oh, like, for whatever reason it is, which ultimately diminished my confidence even more. But I realized that a lot of the issues that we have can really be boiled down to the fact that we know what we need to do. It's not a matter if we don't know. Sure, some things you don't know what you need to do. Like if you want to make, I don't know, $1 million, you might not know what you literally need to do. Like there's an informational gap there. But there is also an emotional and an identity gap in which, for me, I realize when it comes to making friends, going out there, getting these adventures, and even initiating this kind of adventure that I want to go on, this is something that I, from my personal experience, really, really lack. It's just that emotional in, I guess, identity confidence that I need. So honestly, like moving forward, like as corny as it might seem for like my 17-year-old self to say, because I always love like looking at this from the frame of like, what would my 17-year-old self need to hear? As corny as it might think, because I, as a person that feels like they need to go all in, I would really say like, hey man, do these baby steps. All right. Like I need to get these baby steps in. I need to slowly, branch out, and most importantly, go to these, things that I like going to. If I like going to a book club, I need to go to a book club. If I like going to play basketball, yo, I need to start hooping again. All right. Like I need to, do these activities in which I like, so I can find these people, so I can build that confidence up even more and be able to make the friends that I want to make. I want to be able to have these experiences. I don't want to miss out. All right. I don't want to be, 30 years old and I don't have any dad lore. I didn't do anything dumb with my friends. All right, I'm saying we gotta get arrested or anything, but like to be able to go like into my 30s without having like that real experience of like you and your friends traveling on some road tripping, or like just going around town doing dumb stuff. I don't know if I could live with myself knowing that I missed out on that simply because I didn't take any action, not because it wasn't out there, not because no, there's nobody else that wants to experience that. Everybody wants to experience that, but who's actually going to be the one to go out there and try? And as much as it scares me, I'm going to have to be the one to try. I'm just going to have to be. All right, I can't wait on anybody. I have to initiate. And, I'm very excited to see where that can take me, because I have no doubt that when you put in the effort and when you put in the action, you will be rewarded. You absolutely will be rewarded. So it's going to definitely be an adventure, but I'm here for it. But yeah, that's kind of why, like I find myself in this dilemma. I want friends. I do. I really, really do want friends. I want all the adventures. But at the same time, yikes. I don't want to leave my house, but that's going to be changing very, very soon.